Yeah, just getting ready excited to get on the road or play at home in a home night game. We're so used to playing on the road, but it's good to get home and have a rare night game at Memorial Stadium, and our players are excited about the opportunity of playing. Oregon State's a good football team, well coached. I got a lot of respect for Gary. His teams always play tough. They're always physical. They always play hard. I'm sure this team will be no different. We have a lot of history together. 3 years he was at Utah State and I was at La Tech, and all three years were tough, physical, hard-fought football games. So I'd expect this one to be the same. Our players are in a pretty good frame of mind right now. Coming off of four losses, I think that they're, we've been honest and realistic with them in our evaluations of what we have to improve, and they get it, and they're excited about going out and practicing and improving areas we need to improve in and getting better. And so I think that they're, we had a great day Sunday. They came in, it was a late night Sunday night. I think it was probably 4 o'clock in the morning before our guys got home, and we had a quick turnaround to practice on Sunday, and they came in with a great frame of mind, and so it was good. It was a good day for us, and need to build on it today.
Apparently, Gary Anderson just announced that Collins won't be playing Saturday. With that in mind, it looks like Nick Mitchell is going to be the guy. What are your thoughts on Mitchell?
Well, I think, they've played a lot of different, guys this year. That's a good question. I think they're growing as an offense, and I think he's done that as well. You know what I mean? And so I think that's what, they're trying to do is just, kind of figure out who they are and keep getting better at it. And you can see that happening, honestly. I think that they've gotten, better and better. I got a lot of respect for their offensive coordinator. Dave Baldwin's a really good football coach. Does a nice job of figuring out ways to attack you. Really does a nice job scheming, always has. His teams are always, well coached. And so what they'll do is they'll come up with a really good package that they're comfortable with for him. And the packages have been a little bit different from quarterback to quarterback. And this one, they'll get it adjusted and they'll do a good job, and they give them opportunities to be successful. They've got good skill position players. They really do. They've got speed at one receiver. They've got size and strength at the other. Running back's a good player. So they've got a good complement of skill guys. Again, I've been impressed with their offensive line, just the toughness and tenacity they play with. So, it'll be a little bit different. And as I said, they've done a nice job of figuring out what their guys can do and getting them to do it.
Sonny, the other night when we talked to you, you discussed that first year and the transition and how you can relate to what he's going through right now. And as many injuries, as many problems as you had 2 years ago, you had the same guy got to play quarterback every game.
Yeah, sure.
Can you relate to what it would be like to?
Yeah, that's
all
hard.
Those problems plus what he's.
Yeah, no, I went through that my first year at Louisiana Tech. I think we played like 4 or 5 different quarterbacks. We just had a kind of a revolving door at quarterback due to trying to find somebody and due to injuries and a lot of different things. And it just makes it hard. You can't grow as fast as you'd like to when you because reps are so important for that position. The only way you get good at playing quarterback is by playing quarterback. There's really not any other way to simulate it other than getting into a game and playing. Reps are just incredibly valuable. So it's hard. I know that's been tough for him, and certainly something I can empathize with.
When your players look at these guys and they know they don't have their starting quarterback, will they go in expecting to win, or do you think that's different than normal?
Yeah, I think our guys expect to win every week. I really do. I think that, to me, that's where the progress that we've made as a program, I know as coaches, and I really truly believe our players, when we get on the field, we think, that if we play well, that we're going to win. And we kind of expect to do that. And, that's progress. And when you do that, that means when you get to that point as a program where you feel like every time you take the field, you expect to win, that's a good feeling. And so I would expect our guys to feel that way this week, just because that's normally the way they feel. And, they feel like that they're good enough that if they play well, regardless of who the opponent is, it's going to give us an opportunity to get a win. And that's a good part. It's a good place to be at as a program. Now, sometimes, you play against somebody that is a really fine line and you have to play really well. But our football team is talented enough where if we really play together as a team, we can beat anybody on our schedule. And I believe that.
Just a minute ago, you said that you were honest and frank with them about what's happened the last 4 weeks. What did you tell them? What areas did you tell them need to get better? And what have been sort of if you're good enough to beat anybody, what do you think the theme has been?
Yeah. It's been something different. I mean, there's been times where I thought we certainly played well enough defensively to win Utah and USC. We didn't have a lot of possessions on offense against USC, and so there was a real fine line there. We got the ball for all intents and purposes 9 times in the game, and had 3 punts, 3 turnovers, and 3 touchdowns. And so, when you have 9 possessions, there's a fine line. And so, but we certainly played well enough to win that game defensively. We didn't play well enough to probably win it defensively Saturday. And so. We just, there's been different things in games that have hurt us a little bit. The turnovers, obviously, against SC and Utah. I truly believe if we don't turn the ball over 6 times against Utah, it's a different story. But that's part of the game, and that's the way it works. And so that's what we're trying to do is just get better. You know what I mean? Just get better, weather the storms a little bit better. I think there are times where, when you lose a game, and you start to. Get a little bit again, especially when you haven't won that much, where you might lose your confidence at times a little bit, and I think that we need to be a little mentally tougher. And I've challenged them about doing that. Our effort's been great all year. I mean, our guys play as hard as anybody in college football. I mean, and that's why I have so much respect for this team. I mean, I love these guys. I mean, they play hard every Saturday, and they play hard when they're down. They play hard when they're up. They play hard, but we've got the biggest thing about getting over the hump is you just develop confidence, and that's the hardest. That's the last step is believing you're going to win, and like we talked about earlier, expecting to win, not just believing you can win, but expecting to win. And there are times in games where we just got to keep believing that. And so, against Oregon again, we didn't tackle well, and that's something we've done most of the year. We missed more tackles than we should have. We didn't block as well up front as we had the week before. We had some situations in our offensive line where we probably didn't play as well as we needed to. And then we still dropped some passes, which again, we're not a team that's done that, but we've done it the last couple of weeks.
Is the inconsistency linked to the confidence factor? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, when you play against good people, the coverage is a little tighter. There's a little bit more competitive balls. All those things are, when you play against really talented players, your execution has to go up a notch, and and so we've like I said, we've played 4 pretty good football teams. Teams that have been in the top 10 or top 8 or whatever it is. So you don't get in the top 8 or top 10 unless you got some talent, and those teams have talent. Good thing is we do too, and we just got to play when we get an opportunity to play against one of those teams. We got to just play a little bit better. But our guys know that we got to coach better. I mean, anytime we lose a ball game, and I truly believe this, the first thing we always do is what could we have done different as coaches. I've never coached a ball game that we lost a game and that wasn't the first thing we tried to address is, okay, what can we do better? And so we're constantly trying to figure out what we can do better and then what our players can do better and how we can teach it and adjust it and all that type of thing. So, when we don't play well, what that means is we didn't coach well. And so it always starts with us. And I get that. And that's always has been that way. And when we play really good, it's because of the players. I've always believed that. When you win a ball game, it's because of the players. When you lose a ball game, it's because of the coaches. And I truly believe that.
Oregon State, they've switched their defense this year. They went from a 4-3 to a 3-4. What sort of things do they do in defense? What's your impressions of their defense? And
Well, the first impression that you get is how physical they are. I mean, the linebackers are very physical. Safeties are very physical. I mean, they will hit you. To me, they're probably as physical or maybe more physical than anybody in the league. I mean, those guys will hit you, in linebackers and safeties especially. That's the thing that to me that stands out. The next thing, again, they play hard. They're well coached. They have a good scheme. They vary their scheme enough to keep you off balance. They blitz enough to create issues for you. I mean, they're going to show you a lot of different blitzes and, do some things that are tough to protect from a scheme standpoint. And they run to the ball well. They know how to leverage the football. That's the thing. You can put a film on and you can see how well coached the defense is by just how do they leverage the football. And these guys leverage the ball well. So that's what stands out to me.
now, UCLA said, you're probably aware of it, that they said something about that Oregon State was barking or something and causing disruption to the signals. Oregon State said they weren't doing anything wrong. I don't want you to get you in the middle of this, but just hypothetically, would a team that did something like that, say some team tried that, would that be how disruptive would that be to your offense?
Well, hypothetically, I mean, that's, it's part of football. I mean, sometimes we've played people that have, from time to time, called defensive signals the same time we were calling offensive signals, and it's just, you got to work through it. You can talk to the officials about it, and you can get upset, and, they just kind of ignore you. So that's typically what we do. We just try to adjust and move forward.
Sonny, you were talking about the players' confidence and how they're still going into games expecting to win. The knee-jerk reaction sometimes when teams get into a little bit of funk is to try to change things up. It seems to me, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, that you haven't had to change things too much, that you've been able to because of their...
Yeah, no, we're always trying to, build a better mousetrap, and every team's different. And when you reach the back fourth of the season like we're in now, you have to try to, keep them fresh and keep them healthy. And so you always make adjustments to your schedule, your practice schedule, and try to find ways for players to, to recover. Because, again, when you play 15 of your last 19 games on the road at night, and you get back at 4 o'clock in the morning, you got a quick turnaround, it's physically, it takes its toll on you. You guys travel, and I mean, how hard. I mean, imagine doing what the players do, where, like I said, by the time it's 5 o'clock in the morning, by the time they get to sleep, and they're back up here, seeing doctors and seeing people at noon on Sunday, and so there's just not a lot of turnaround. And our guys are trying to study, and so it's tough. I mean, it's tough on them physically. In some ways, it's probably tougher on them mentally, and so you got to try to figure out ways to keep them fresh. And so we're always trying to adjust that way. And then we're constantly scrutinizing everything that we do. You know what I mean? Everything that we do. Why did we do this? Why do we do this? How can we improve this? How can we make this better? And those are really, truly daily conversations that take place. I mean, I walk, we meet every morning in a staff meeting, we talk about those issues, and then I walk and talk to people individually. I talk to the players all the time, individually, just how you guys feeling, tell me what's going on, just trying to get as much information as I can about their physical well-being, their mental well-being, any kind of adjustments we can make. So, we have a formula that's come out of a lot of hard work and a lot of trial and error and a lot of conversations with people through the years. And, you apply that formula and then you make adjustments based on your situation, because everybody's situation is different. And so that's where we're constantly doing that.
You mentioned left tackle is a problem the other day. Do you just flip those two guys, or do you let them compete?
Yeah, we'll let them compete.
Do you have any other options besides those two guys?
No, not really. And look, I got confidence in both of them. Guys have bad games sometimes. Sometimes you have a bad matchup. I believe in Aaron Cochran. I believe in Brian Farley. Both those guys, I mean, I have undying belief in both of them. And, we just want to play the guy that's going to give us the best chance to win.
Okay, any further questions?
I noticed that Lasco and Wary are listed as co-backups to Muhammad. Should any stock be put in?
No, I think just it's kind of been production. That's kind of been our thing. Is just who produces the most, and we've got, the good thing is we've got four or five good running backs, and so that's a good problem to have. And how we list them on the depth chart is, that's Kyle's decision.
I wasn't on the B yet, so excuse my ignorance. But what kind of went into the decision in preseason to open up the punting competition, and how have you felt like Cole has handled it?
You know what? I think Cole's had a great year. I've been really pleased with what he's done. And the thing with Cole is we felt like coming out of last year and maybe in the spring he was a little bit inconsistent, and there have been no signs of that at all. He's been outstanding. He's done exactly what we've asked him to do. We have not had issues covering punts this year because he has hung the ball up and he's kicked it where we've asked him to kick it, and our guys have covered. And and our net punting average is way up. That's a big, significant average, and I've been very, very pleased with Cole. I think he's had a really good year.
And anything new on the injury front? You said you'd know more in the next couple of days.
Yeah, as we get into the week, we'll know more and more. We've got some guys we're going to work through some bumps and bruises, but I don't think there's really anything that significant at this point. What I'm saying? We'll see how it progresses during the week, but we'll limit some guys just like we always do at times during the week, just to make sure that we're bringing them back and getting them rehabbed properly and giving them the best opportunity to play while making sure that they practice whatever that fine line is. So we're a little bit more banged up than we have been, but it's nothing that you would not expect, this late in the season.